Hi everyone, my name is Denney. I'm going to be talking about the Seek app, which was developed by iNaturalist. It's a website that uses citizen science to try and understand biodiversity. So the topic that I want to go over today is how we can integrate citizen science in the classroom. The Seek app is made by iNaturalist, where it's a website which people are able to upload photos of organisms that they've found out in the wild. And so the Seek app uses your location to try and look at species that are nearby. You can click on those, you can read a little bit about them, and you can see where they've been collected. So this range map here shows that it's been observed in all of these areas that are dotted with green. You can also read about the taxonomy of your particular organism. So here I'm looking at an insect, it's a butterfly, and you can see all the way down to its species, and that it's been observed 70 times in Athens. You can also look at its seasonality to understand when the organism is most active. And of course, this isn't limited to just animals. You can also use it to look at plants. You can look at fungi. You can look at a lot of really cool stuff using this app. The other day I was cleaning the ceiling fan and this little spider started to crawl around. And it's cool to be able to get a picture of it, but historically you would have to take that, upload it to iNaturalist and say, hey, what is this? And have people try and identify it for you. The coolest part about Seek is that you can actually open it up, have it use your camera, and try and identify it for you. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scan this, and I'm going to look around, try and see if I can get a clear shot, and the app will try and identify it based off of all that information from iNaturalist. So you can see it says it's an insect, it looks like it's a spider, and there we go. We get it to species, Magnolia green jumping spider, which we can then observe and log it to our observations. There I can then click on View Species and I can read more about it, such as where it's from, see where it's been observed in Athens, look at its taxonomy, other observations worldwide, and its seasonality. There's a lot of cool information I can get from it just by taking that picture and allowing Seek to look at the area around me. The idea that citizen science, such as that which was developed for iNaturalist, or if you're familiar with Merlin from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, the idea behind it was that they can be used for learning. And so there's been a lot of study and interest in this topic to try and understand how citizen science can help people learn. So they found that scientists can obviously make discoveries and things from all of the information that they're getting from citizens, but citizens also have reported an increased desire to learn more about science, understanding more about the scientific method. They've learned more about data analysis, and most people who participated in these studies have reported that they have an increased appreciation for science, which is something that we want people to get, we want students to get, but they can't always get in the classroom by reading from a textbook. So I was interested in that idea of going outside and how we can use that to teach people more about science and also how it works with the 4 C's of 21st century learning. So as I started delving into the literature, I found that as people started studying about biodiversity, they found that those who went out and did field work had an increased amount of creativity, and they seemed to retain the information better than those who were stuck in the classroom. There's been many books and many areas of research that have looked at scientific inquiry using inquiry-based learning and seeing how that helps. And they've noticed that those who go outside, those who engage in different strategies of learning science, especially in fieldwork, have increased in collaboration and communication, which is something that we want students to get as part of their 21st century education. Some studies have even looked at biodiversity itself and seeing how teaching students about biodiversity has helped them. This particular study looked at students over several years, and they found that as they taught about biodiversity, students had an increased ability to critically think about their surroundings, which was something that then translated over to other areas of their life beyond their scientific classroom. So now that we've gone over the 4 C's, there's definitely literature that shows that going outside, looking at biodiversity, and engaging in fieldwork can help students. But the question is, how can we do that using the Seek app? Well, for example, you could send students out to have them identify native plants. Here, this was in the greenhouse, but they could learn more about, say, this purple passion flower. They could log it into their observations, and as they go around traveling, they can actually try and figure out its species range and see where it grows. Another way that Seek could be used is they could take photos and try and upload it and gain information that way. So for example, you have this coleus here, but the app says that it's a spur flower. Rather than the student taking it and posting it to iNaturalist and asking for help, this could give the student an opportunity to think about it and say, well, what do I know about spur flowers? Is it possible that this is a spur flower? What are the characteristics that I need to learn? And so this could be a good springboard for them to learn more about the way that scientists classify organisms. And another way that it could be used is, say you have something that's been given to you as a gift, like this succulent. You may not know anything about it, but you want to know a little bit more about where it's from originally, or how to take care of it. This is something that you can use to delve more into its environment, into its needs, and more about similar species and ways that you could raise those as well. So the Seek app can be used in a variety of ways, and the whole purpose of it is to help students to observe nature more fully. I think Seek is a really excellent resource for teachers. It helps students get outside, gets them engaged in biodiversity and in fieldwork, and understanding a little bit about what science is like. And it helps them make these observations to understand the little nuances that we have, with all of our different species on Earth. One of the things that I think that Seek could do better is it could allow a little bit more collaboration. So iNaturalist has this feature where you can create projects, and anybody who joins the project can then upload to that. It would be really cool if teachers could have some sort of say in creating an area, a project, a bio blitz of some sort, and dividing up groups and having students go and look for specific types of species or types of organisms. And then that way everybody could upload what they're finding and see everybody else's results. As it is right now, Seek does not allow a collaboration in that way. It does through iNaturalist, but through the app itself, it doesn't have that ability. It would also be nice if there was a search ability. So if you could look at everything based off of what you know, you say you find some organism and you think you know what it is based off of characteristics that define it, and you want to quiz yourself, it would be cool to be able to search and look up that information that's contained within the app without having to open the camera and identify it to species first. Obviously, a student can do all of that by using Google, using other resources, but it would be nice if that was all functioning and integrated within Seek itself. The last feature I want to show is that you can use, besides looking at all the biodiversity, you can also use Seek to have some fun. So here I have a picture of my family, and when you try to identify it, you'll see that you're human. Obviously humans are species or organisms, and so it's going to show up, but it can be kind of fun to try it out, and if the camera's not working on your family or friends, you can question whether or not they're really a person. The whole point of Seek is to have fun and get out and see nature and notice biodiversity around you. I think that the app is really helpful in doing that, and it can help us learn by doing this citizen science at the same time. With that, I've got these works that I've cited that I've talked about earlier, and I'll post these as a link in my YouTube video as well. But I hope you've enjoyed hearing about the Seek app, and that it's given you some ideas about ways that you could incorporate it in your life and your teaching. Thank you.